when did we become a country where lying is okay? Where
Yeah.
turning our back on our ally is okay? We're
I
pulling
feel
out
the
of
same way.
NATO is okay.
I don't know if you know Joseph Campbell's work about the hero's journey, but it's like the prototypical human story where somebody in a tribe goes out, has some adventure, learns something, brings it back, and makes the tribe stronger and better. And
The irony is it all kind of came together. And one of my favorite stories is kind of the hero narrative. There's a movie called 10,000 BC, which is not a really great movie in and of itself, in my view. A
10,000.
young man's father leaves the village.
Mm-hmm.
And the young man just, he's a warrior, but he just, why did my dad abandon the village? And he goes to
Mm-hmm.
the elder, who was asked to kind of look out almost like a godfather character. And he says, a good man will look out for himself and his family and will take care of them and at times risk his life for them. Said, a great man will look out for himself, his family, and his neighbor, and at times will risk his life for them.
Mm.
And then the greatest of men look out for himself, his family, his neighbors, and strangers, and
Mm.
will at times risk his life for them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of man that your father was.
Mm.
And it's up to you to decide what kind of man you will be. And the young man goes and risks his life for the village, strangers, and they prevail. But it takes courage to be the hero. Something slipped for me in terms of my pride in my country. I am still a very proud American. I love
Mm.
America. I am
Mm.
thankful. My story is
We're
hardly
going through a rough
told.
patch right at the moment,
Yeah,
Alan.
yeah, exactly. My story is hardly happens without the miracle
Right,
of America.
right, right.
That said,
Where
where we
where
are
would that
right
ever occur
now,
anywhere else, right?
yeah, where we are now, it disturbs me. I'm not as proud when the hope of the world is at present the laughing stock. I'm saying, when do we become a country where lying is okay? We're
Yeah,
turning our back on our ally is okay. We're
I
pulling
feel
out
the
of
same way.
NATO is okay.
It's happening to me too. I feel shaken to my core by the behavior of people that we've elected. It's hard to think about anything else. It's hard to get work done. People are coming to me and saying, what should we do? And just in the last few days, and I haven't got a freaking clue. I got no idea. I mean, stand and fight. Yes. What does that mean? I do not know.
So what I tell them, I said, look, you can't give up and you've got to become the change you seek. Work harder, work smarter,
Yeah.
understand how you got here and make sure you don't do that again.
Yeah, really. Try
And
and learn from your mistakes. That's good advice.
so what we're doing is part of what we do, what we should do. Have the conversations, hopefully share them,
Right.
and get people to think. The great Toni Morris had the words of wisdom about periods like these. It was what she said was quite beautiful. This is precisely the time when artists go to work.
Yeah.
There's no time for despair, no place for self-pity, no need for silence, no room for fear. We speak, we write. This is how civilizations heal. Toni Morris.
Yeah, I am on board because that's all I got. I'm not gonna go out and I don't know, storm the barricades. That's not what I got.
Right.
I got this brain and I got some ability to put things into words. And what I've been telling people is I'm flooding the zone. It's just that my zone is very small. I have a very small zone. You have a bigger zone, BK. So if you flood your zone, you're doing something. That's for
Well,
sure.
I'm trying. I mean, I think we all do our part. You just reminded me, like Richard Hunt, when people say, Richard, we're gonna be out here protesting tomorrow. Well, you gonna come out here? And he'd say, no. And they'd be like, why not? Richard, your voice. And blah, blah, blah. He said, my voice is hanging on walls and buildings and communities all over the world.
Yeah.
When I go in to do my work, my chosen weapon is sculpture, is
Yeah.
expressing, is taking forms like steel and heat and turning them into something beautiful,
Yeah.
because that's what I believe in. And that's what I choose to show the world, that the possibility, metal shouldn't bend that way.
Right.
But if you work with it, it can. It does.
Yeah. That's
And
his contribution.
that's it. That's his canvas. Yeah.